Welcome players to another drawing tutorial on Press Start to Draw, and today we're going to be drawing the oh so reliable and tasty food item of Team Fortress 2. It's time to meet the sandwich. Let's get started with the materials. For today, you need a pencil with an eraser and a ruler, and optional, colored pencils and a Sharpie. Alright guys, let's get into battle. Let's get started. Stage 1. The sketch. So, first, take your ruler and sketch a nice slanted line down the bottom. Then take it again and draw a straight line going up on the left. We're going to make the basic outline of the sandwich. It's going to be a slice of sandwich. It's going to be a triangular type shape. Take your ruler again, make a nice slant line going forwards. Now, at the right, we're going to round it off a little bit. This is where some of the crust is going to be at. Then we're going to take a ruler again and make one more slanted line pointing up on the right side. Darken up those lines a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and separate. Make a nice split down the middle. We're going to indicate the center of the sandwich where we're going to put our tasty new meat and our condiments. Take your line again. Separate the two halves. Make a nice little line right there. Using a ruler is very helpful to make those nice, sharp, straight lines. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with the actual meat of the sandwich. This is going to be the ham or bologna, whichever you prefer. I think Heavy will take whatever he gets, as long as it heals him to max health. So, the meat consists of just you making an oval and just going around and then connecting it to the bottom. Just your basic lunch meat, nothing too complicated about it. Make sure it kind of overlaps the bottom of the sandwich. Erase some intersecting sketch lines if there is any. Now we're going to go ahead and make the Swiss cheese. Make some nice Swiss cheeses that are overlapping each other. And since we're making the cheeses, we're going to go ahead and make the tomatoes and then the lettuce. Lettuce is pretty simple. Just make a shower curtain type of shape, if you will. That'll be our lettuce right there. Now we're going to go ahead and make the second tomato, which is going to be pretty big on this sandwich. It's going to be reaching the end of our sandwich. So make a nice little half-cut cylinder type of shape for our tomato. Make sure it reaches all around to the end of the side of the sandwich. Add a little hole for our cheese right there. It is Swiss after all. I never really like Swiss cheese. I mean, it's okay, but the cheese that I don't really like is blue cheese. I love all cheese. I'm a cheese maniac. Finishing up on our toppings here. So, basic shapes. Also, make sure that the lettuce is going to be clipping the side of the sandwich right there. And then the lettuce is also going to be sticking out from the bottom, from the back as well. Sorry. Now we're going to make something really simple, an olive. Just make a little toothpick and then make a nice big oval shape. It's going to be a really big cartoony oval. Make a circle, then make a circle within that, and then draw some little stuffing in there. I think the red tomato that's inside it. Is it a tomato? I'm not sure. This is the point where I'm finishing up, making some 3D textures, if you will, to the sandwich to make it pop a little bit more, and there's the overall sketch. Stage 2, trace and erase. This is the part where we're going to go ahead and use our Sharpie and then take our time and slowly trace the sandwich. Now here are going to be some details that you might have missed previously are going to show up. Make sure you take your time, especially when you're tracing those lines that you made with the ruler. Now you don't necessarily have to make lines with a ruler, but this image, this sandwich, is very symmetrical. It's very straight, it uses very straight symmetrical lines, and using a ruler will help capture that simplicity of Team Fortress 2 art style in a way. So be careful with your Sharpie, because it doesn't erase. Now, after we're done with tracing everything here, basic shapes, nothing really too hard. If you have any problems, of course, comment down in the comment section below. And now we're going to go ahead, take our eraser, and erase everything. You can keep your sketch lines if you want to do that. But to make it a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more sharper, we're going to go ahead and erase those lines. Now, final stage, coloring and shading. This is the boss battle, guys. You're almost there. The battle is nearing its end. So, for the ham, I take of course, a pink colored pencil, it's appropriate, and I just do, at first, a light shade of coloring. I'm not sure what I want to put the, what shade I want to leave the meat at, so I'm just going to go start with a light shade and then go back to it. Same thing what I did with the cheese. I looked at two different images of the sandwich, and some colors on a sandwich on a picture were pale and a little bit dull, and then but on the other image the colors were a little bit more emphasized, they were brighter. So you want to get some good color, but not too much where it's going to be really saturated. That's what you don't want to do. So make the Swiss cheese yellow, make the tomatoes red, and of course the lettuce green. Pretty simple if you know what basic toppings of a sandwich look like, unless maybe you're colorblind. If you are, that's fine. Blue tomatoes are cool too. I'm just kidding. So now I'm taking a nice dark brown, I'm coloring the crust. Now, it was really interesting experimenting with the coloring of this sandwich. I was trying to fish around my colored pencils and see what type of color I should use for the actual bread of the sandwich. And I was looking for peach colors. So if you have a set of Crayola colored pencils, this is the beauty of this, you can have really cool, great colored illustrations with just simple Crayola colored pencils. And they're not really expensive. They're like, I don't know, $1 or $2. I mean, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good deal. And, it's not like those expensive, art pencils, that you have to buy a $20 set for. But, I mean, not saying that those are crap, even though I have been dealing with some really crappy pencils that came in with, some big art sets, but that's a different story right there. So yeah, you can really do a lot with, these colored pencils. If you're going with more of a realistic approach, say if you're making a portrait and you want to, add some color into that, Crayola colored pencils are probably not the way for you. But yeah, Crayola colored pencils are your basic colored pencils. As long as they provide you a nice, bright shade of color, then they are okay by me. They get a pass from the sky. As you can see, I'm giving more love, giving more brightness to the colors here and there. Now, don't make the same mistake as I did. I kind of made the one big tomato, a little bit too bright. Remember, you don't want to saturate colors. On camera, it looks a little bit brighter. Looking in real life, it doesn't really look too bright. So different lighting effects here and there. Now, this is what we didn't do before in the sketch. So what you want to do is adding in some extra detail, take your brown colored pencil and lightly make little holes here and there. It's a cool little cartoony effect to the sandwich, a very cartoony type of sandwich. That's why I use symmetrical lines. It's not really like a realistic piece of bread where, you know, everything doesn't really consist of a straight line. Now, as you can see, I mentioned earlier, I'm using a peach colored pencil. So make sure that you are lightly coloring this sandwich. Sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect you, Heavy. The sandwich. Make sure that you are lightly coloring it because this is peach. It does give off a nice light tone if you go light on the pencil, but if you go a little bit too hard, then you're going to get a darker shade. You're going to get more of a peachier shade. I mean, it's appropriate to the color's name, but we don't want that. We want a nice sandy type of color for our bread. Go ahead, make some shading with a black colored pencil if you will, for the olive. Now add some nice detail, that's a little bit more depth. Now I add a little bit of shading for the condiments here and there, but you don't want to add too much shading. Now, what I did wasn't too bad here, is adding black shading, but what I do recommend, and this is probably what I'm going to do from now on, is instead of adding black shade, use the shades of the colors, like, for example, for the lettuce, I would use a dark green for the shadings, you know, instead of a black, because, you know, black on some colors don't really look too well. And sometimes they don't mix together and the shade will look a little bit off. Make sure you get some shading, make sure you pay attention to, like, you know, the cheese. Since it's kind of sticking outwards a little bit, go ahead and make some shading, you know, on the bottom slice of bread and stuff. Pay a keen eye to detail. Also, don't forget to make a nice little soft brown line all around the sandwich for that little crust detailing. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in some shading down below. It's not required, but I like to be that guy to add a little bit of extra detail, a little bit extra love to my sandwich. And there we go, guys. We just made the sandwich, drawing complete. Good job, guys. We made the sandwich now with new meat. Man, it's going to be tasty, and I'm sure that Heavy's going to love it. That's it for the tutorial, guys. Make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe. And Press Start to Draw is signing off.